Good evening. So, great. Wonderful being here. Thank you for the invitation. And I'm very happy that you are also still here. I mean, we're having 6 o'clock. I hope it's not only the cocktails afterward, but also your interest in this presentation. I have to apologize because I will not show you any cars in this presentation. Sorry. But what I have prepared for today, I want to give you some insights on foresight and open innovation. So I want to start very briefly on my theoretical approach on this issue, my understanding, and to show you the reason why I have combined foresight, here the wind tunneling approach, especially with open innovation with the information markets. And then, of course, showing you how we did implement this at Volkswagen, because I was told you're very interested also in the practical insights. So, where are we? We are in the now, right? We talk about future. I mean, you're specialists in this issue, short-term, long-term. And why do we do this? Well, actually, I think it's very easy, because when we take decisions, at least in our Western culture, we always take the decision based on our expectations how the future will develop, right? Looking at organizations, for them it's very important, because based on their estimation of the future, right, they take a decision and they want to secure their existence. These decisions, yeah, a so-called strategy. That's the framing, right? So we focus on special things because we have to make the whole complexity reduced so people know what to do in companies and they know this is relevant, this is irrelevant. Great. So strategy answers where to look. On the other side, we have also innovation, because the innovation is the new thing. After you've defined where to look, you also have to answer the question, what to do with this, right? So if we want to get to a sustainable society, we also need the technology. We need the innovation in order to reach this vision. So innovation influences the future. I call it the interference circle, right? Because innovation, again, influences future, and organizations have to see this as sooner as better in order to implement it in their strategic decisions. Let me show you very shortly one example. Anybody knows this product? It's the first personalized mini drone. Anybody heard about it? Yeah? And what you see here, I think it's nice because you had different innovations who made it possible that this product could be offered. First of all, crowdfunding. So we have internet, we have the technology. Kickstarter, it's a new finance model where they put this mini drone on the internet looking for finance. They needed $10,000 US. After 45 days, they got over $500,000 of US. So the community made a sign saying, yes, we are interested in this product. Please produce it, right? The second technology or innovation who made this possible, it's a 3D printer. Because the special thing about this product is that people could customize this product very individually, because it's going to be produced with a 3D production. So mass customization. And, of course, connectivity, because by the end, after the customer has put this drone together, he can steer it via his smartphone. So we have the point of gamification. So taking this all together, we see that innovation, or putting different innovations together, combined, influence, again, the future. I think 3D printers, it's actually a very good example, because for also the automotive brand, they also have to think, how can this influence in the future our whole production system? And they have to take today the decision in order to be prepared for the future reasonable. And here we have the strategic foresight. And I think I have a quote here from Day and Shoemaker, and they say it's very easy actually, right, when we talk about future. It's all about knowing where to look more carefully for clues, how to interpret these weak signals, and then also to know how to act when the signals are still ambitious. Should we invest, should we not? What should we do? Is it relevant, irrelevant? Sounds easy, but at the same time, they also stress most organizations lack sufficient capacity to detect, interpret, and act on the critical, important, but weak and ambitious signals of fresh threats or new opportunities that emerge on the periphery of the usual business environment. So the bigger a company is, the more challenging, of course, it's for an organization to be open and irritated to see those weak signals. I mean, let's have a look on Volkswagen. It's 12 brands, and we're having more than 550,000 employees worldwide. So, of course, big organizations need routines, right? Everybody knows what to do, because only when we have structure and routines, we can use the synergy, and it's good. But at the same time, innovation or being open for new, it's contradictory to routines. Therefore, Volkswagen has also the Future Affairs and Transfer Department. The aim of this department, which is at the research department at Volkswagen, is to support Volkswagen within the strategy and innovation. What they do, they have a long-term vision and looking also on the so-called steep factors. So not only looking on automotive issues, but also analyzing what happens in society, technology, economy, ecology, and politics. And then the outside-in transfer, saying, okay, what does this mean for the automotive brand? And then finally, what does it mean for Volkswagen? And I think this is the core competence, the translation, because I think this is the most difficult part. The project, which I will show you in a minute, we have done it here at this department where I've also worked. Another department where I work now is the Auto Uni. The Auto Uni provides Volkswagen relevant knowledge. So what we do, we identify the knowledge which we need to have in the future in order to generate it now, but also to transfer it internally to our employees worldwide. And we do it with collaboration with universities and top experts worldwide. So here, the organization is sensitized, saying, okay, we are big, we have routines, but there are certain departments who have this competence to look on the periphery and to translate it and bring it into the organization. Yeah, sounds very easy. These are my theoretical thoughts, but now let's come to the practical things. How do we do this? So here are my thoughts. And what I have seen, or my thesis is, when we talk about innovation and strategy, that they have very different characteristics and purposes. As I already said, strategy is focusing, giving security, orientation, you know what the vision is, where we're heading to. And innovation, it's opening up. It's creating diffusion. It's about new things. It creates insecurity, right? And I think if you combine it specifically together, this is a very big power for the organization, because the organization has to oscillate between these very contrary poles. And this contributes to ensure the company's survival. Framing, but at the same time irritating. So what did I do? I combined the so-called wind tunneling approach was a structured approach to identify relevant future field, and it gave an answer to knowing where to look. You remember the Day and Shoemaker quote? And on the other side, I used the information market method. It's a method where you ask the crowd to give their insights on the question you are asking. So here we gave an answer on how to act. So we have the focus with the wind tunneling and diffusion on the other side. In detail, we had 4 phases. First phase is scenarios. That's the core competence also of the Foresight department. In the second phase, we had a department within our research department. It was a drive engine department. The top management defined 7 colleagues. Together with those colleagues, we have identified consistent strategic options by using the wind tunneling approach. I guess most of you know it. I will show it very briefly in a minute what I mean, or what the wind tunneling approach is. In the third phase, after having the results from the wind tunneling process, we have identified relevant future field, and based on this, we have set up an information market, asking a crowd to give us innovations input, so that finally, in the final stage, the top management could take a decision on a strategy and also on top innovations. So what is wind tunneling? It comes from the aircraft industry, and it's actually pretty simple, right? In the aircraft industry, you have an aircraft, and before you put it on the market, you test it in the wind tunnel. So you put it in the tunnel, and you see with the wind if it's robust, right? So you make a check. And the same you do actually with your own strategy. So the plane is a strategy. You put it in the tunnel. The tunnel is the environment scenario, and you see how robust or stable your strategy is within the future scenarios. So we have done this with the team. In total, we have identified 11 key factors. We did a matching between the scenarios and the strategic options. So by the end, we had identified a consistent and robust strategy, and we also have analyzed gaps, saying, okay, this is your strategy you're having right now. We think this scenario is the most likely one. In order to be prepared, we should talk about certain aspects which we have identified. So after we had this, as I already said, we had the future field identified, we had the framing, and then we invited the crowd. So who was the crowd? As I said, we had the engine department for whom we did this whole process. It was 1 department from the research department, there are in total 6. And we invited all employees, 700, from the research department to bring their insights on this certain field or relevant field which we have identified for the engine department. So the process was like this. First, we defined the questions we wanted to ask. There were 5 questions. Second stage was we opened up this market. I will show you in a minute how it looked, where people could bring in the ideas and evaluate ideas. In total, it was 3 weeks. We closed the market. Then we had a selection board who screened the ideas. In total, we had 136 ideas. And they selected the top 10 ideas. These top 10 ideas were presented in front of the jury. The jury was the top management of the research department, and they nominated the winning ideas. So what is an information market? Very simple. It effectively pools the wisdom of the crowd via a virtual stock exchange. What does it mean? Well, as I said, we invited everybody from the research department. And as soon as he logged in, the user, he was anonymously. We did it on purpose because we wanted the people to focus on the ideas and not on the person who brought in the idea, right? So they logged in and they could do 3 things. First of all, they could bring in their own ideas on these fields we have asked. Secondly, they could evaluate ideas. And here we have a gamification aspect, which makes this a very strong tool because everybody got play money. So if somebody thought, oh, this is a great idea, yeah, I think that's the winning idea, he could put money on it. And the stronger he believed in this idea, he could put more money in it. And due to this, we got a ranking. And the nice thing about this tool is that during the period of the 3 weeks, you can also change your mind because a new idea comes in, right? So you can sell option 1 and put it on option 2. So in this way, you could even see in an hour how the ranking dynamically changed. The third thing was the participant could also make comments. Because when we talk about innovation, collaboration is very important. You have often very good ideas, but it's the last 5% which even makes it better. And here we could see that the comments was very valuable. Because people would say, oh, that's a nice idea. I think I heard about it. Look, here's an article about it, right? Or they asked certain questions, saying, could you make it more specific, this and this? So we made bringing the people together and having also this comment function it gave a big value to make the ideas even better. And what we also had, we had a reward. So we did not only rewarded the top people who brought in the best ideas, but also the people who did the best comments, because we think they are very strong and important. And also the people who were the best traders, so they had the right kind of feeling for the trend to say that's a top idea. So what was our outcome? Via the wind tunneling, we could identify critical success factors and set up a consistent and robust strategy. What we have seen, and this was very nice, because even though, as I said, it was only for the engine department, this question's asked, all the departments participated. After 3 weeks, we had 136 ideas, as I already said, 250 comments, and over 2,600 trades. And I think another point, and this is very important, because when we talk about future, and when we want to influence future, it's also about the mindset. So of course we need the innovation, but we need also the people to be sensible about it. And we could see that with this approach, with this open innovation approach, people talked about it, right? So we could place relevant strategic issues. And afterward, I analyzed it. I made interviews because I was curious, how did this function? And people would say, well, in the lunchtime, we would sit in front of the computer discussing the ideas which were brought in and speculate on who was bringing in these ideas. But, yeah. So, and the winning ideas are also being further elaborated. And I think also for the information market, which I think is also very important also when we talk about future, or this strategic, setting up strategy for the future. Within this market, we could see that we had access to otherwise unconsidered input. So from the 10 top ideas, 5 ideas were from other departments. They had great ideas for this specific department, right? We could easily localize experts. So we did this twice in our research department. And when we did it the first time, the winner, so the person who brought in the winning idea, it was a PhD student. And he said, oh, it was so easy, very easy, put in ideas, there was no hierarchy, and only the quality of my idea was important. And I think this was also interesting for the top management, the evaluation of those potential success of implementation, the ideas, due to the ranking. I love networks, right? So what you see here is a very simple network. The dots are representing employees. The colors of the dots are representing the department the employee belongs. And the connection between the dots presents who is talking to whom. And I think most of the organization, and this is not Volkswagen, it can be any bigger company, looks like this, which makes sense, that mostly you always talk within your department, right? And I did this analyze also for my information market. So I took all the transaction data, and as I already said, it was anonymously, but still I could see to which department the user XYZ was belonging to. And this was the result. So what you really nice see that everybody was talking with everybody, right? So we really mixed up informations, relevant information. So, to summarize, combining strategic foresight and open innovation is able to generate strategic insight and value, and also to establish a long perspective strategy. Embedded, and I think this is very important, within an iterative learning circle, right? So everything what we gained also from the open innovation insights, we could bring it back again into the strategy. It was a structured and transparent process, bottom up and top down. We had a very qualified discussion on different consistent possible future strategies and future innovations. And we also provided the basis for identifying white spots within the wind tunneling process, but also within the information market. So, my last slide. I know that the next point are cocktails, right? So I thought I will just bring you one small video. It's not from Volkswagen. Actually, it's really nice. I just saw it. It's from a Hello? Yeah. It's from a Belgium person transportation company, De Line. So I guess some of you know, because by the end, it's about anticipating future development, right? So the ants were structured, were doing their everyday work, and something came, something that they did not really expect, but they were prepared, right? So by the end, it's about having a plan, strategy, but also knowing about how to act. And one end could have not managed it. It was the collaboration. Thank you.